is David for BigBits, and in this video we have another update from the Lightnite team on their game for their developer update in February. Now, we have talked about the game on the channel before. If you're not familiar with Lightnite, it is a battle royale type game like Fortnite, but it uses in-game currency with Satoshis, which is a unit of Bitcoin that people can earn and just receive in the game for their actions that they're doing. If you're more interested in that, there should be a link popping up to a video right now, to the first video where we talk about it in general, but we've already had a couple of other update videos since then on their development blog. Their single player version should be ready to play soon, and we've talked about several other things. But let's go ahead and get started. This is what they've been working on. So it seems like a lot of their work has been done on the interface, and then also in this update they also wanted to let us know a little bit about their design and development process that they've been doing. So of course, when you're talking about a game, when you're looking at the UI, most of the time you're thinking of the HUD, which is the overlay on top of the world on which you're looking at, and that's known as the HUD, the heads-up display. You can kind of see that down here. This is their basic version, but I wanted to go over a couple of things that they talked about. A lot of this basic stuff that you'd expect to see in a normal game: health, shield bars, ammo counters, and they try to make it unobtrusive. They also have a mini map, shows your teammates' location, custom locations that you can ping on the map. It also can show enemies briefly. It can show your team members, and then it also shows some of the other things such as your statistics on the game, number of kills, what's about to happen, the shrink zones, and of course they also have notifications coming up for events that happen in the game, like who was killed by who and when, things like that. And you can see, of course, that's here. They purposefully rendered it without the world map so that it would render and you could focus on the HUD instead of actually what's in behind it. Now, the inventory, you can see they've kind of started on this in the bottom right corner. They're going to have 6 slots. This is kind of the first bit of detail that has actually come out about the game as far as what you're actually going to be able to have. And they're going to have 6 slots, and including a melee weapon, which one of the slots is dedicated to. So with the items that you've gotten through the pre-sale, if you've done that, then you would have already had a couple of items. I believe you get a weapon as well. So if you haven't checked that out, you can actually check out their Play Store if you've pre-purchased, and if you haven't already, use the referral link in the description of the video if you want to check it out. I think it's only like $20 in Bitcoin, but with the referral link you actually get 20% off, so just keep that in mind. Some of the HUD elements will be customizable, so of course you can display or not display them, and then it's currently a draft version. So this is what they've started with now. Of course, they haven't even released a beta release. This is pre-alpha. They haven't even released an alpha or their single-player version. So to get started, I think it's okay. It does look a little bit generic in a couple of places. The alignments look a little bit odd. The font, I'm not really sure if I'm a huge fan of it. So we'll see. It is a low-poly game, and it's not meant to be taken quite seriously, so it might work out. We'll have to see how it looks like with the actual maps rendered on top of it. So you'll also see a menu that they've come up with here as well, and that's part of what they're focusing on, is that they actually want to get people to play the game who don't use Bitcoin. So in order to do that, you have to have menus that are relatively simple, because if you come from crypto, you'll know that a lot of the menus and the interactions with cryptocurrency are rather complicated or advanced for most people. And most games that are out there are very simple. You hit 1 or 2 buttons and you're playing a game. Whereas, if you want to send a Bitcoin transaction, you have to go through several steps. You have to copy an address to who you're sending it to, paste it in the to field, and then you have to make sure you're calculating the right amount of Bitcoin that you want to send for the US value. And there's just a whole lot involved with it that they're trying to make as easy as possible in the user interaction for the game, so they can convert people from playing regular games into playing Lightnite and working with Bitcoin pretty seamlessly. Now, their web platform, this is something we've already covered on the channel. They brought this up last time. This is what I talked about a little bit earlier in the video as well. This is where you can check out your account, look at the items that you already have on your account, and possibly purchase more ones. Like I said, if you've already pre-purchased or if you've used the referral link in the description, you can get to this by creating your account on there, and you can actually see what's going on. Now, they've also talked a little bit about level design, and their first level they're working on was the military base for their close quarters combat. And they did that for a lot of reasons. They went over that here. I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot, but they want you to think about covers, choke points, different paths, platforming elements, and things that can lead you to rewards. And they want it to be including verticality and jump mechanics, so taking advantage of the 3D space that they're working in, so to say. And they also mentioned a little bit about block mesh. This is a little bit more technical, but essentially they are building their 3D model inside of the game engine, which allows them to test what they're actually working with. Now, they also have the set dressing. This is essentially just layering on top of your brushes, if you're familiar with C# and graphics, but essentially just laying on top the visual style to the asset you're working with. So you're talking about a wall, you're adding in brick texture and other things. So that's what they mean by that. They add that on. They build their model, they add their set dressing, and the set dressing also includes other items, and they added in some Bitcoin posters and other things in there that they plan on having it to where you can be able to interact with that and possibly make it the part of a mission or missions where you interact with those, and you can even get Satoshis for doing that, or make it work towards Easter eggs in the game that could unlock certain things perhaps. Now finally, they talk a little bit more about lighting and visual effects. This also is a pretty technical discussion, but you can see they've added in a lot of different lighting systems within Unity to make things work well, and they also focused on making them work so that they can be able to work better with other features that they might want to add later, and also keep the frame rate as high as possible at the same time. So you can also see some of the options they give here as well, with some of the post-processing with anti-aliasing, ambient occlusion, color grading, and motion blur. So you can see there's a really nice image here. Even though it's low poly, it looks really nice, I think, with the different lighting effects that they've added on. As far as the software architecture is concerned, this is talking about the back end on how they're designing the game, and they say they're using a modular fashion, which I believe is a very good idea. It's a pretty standard design philosophy with applications to where your different features are essentially modules that you can add on to the game, and you can reference from the main module, and it makes it much easier to add them and pull them out. Whereas if you were to design your applications to where a lot of the features aren't modular and they're like hard coded into the main system, it makes it a lot harder to essentially find all their references and pull those out, or disable those and find all of the different effects that it would have on different areas of the game or other parts of your application if it were all a part of the main module. So that's something to keep in mind as well, that they're going to have this ability to add features based on modules that they would like to see. So if there's a new game type coming, that might be a new module, or there are other features that people would like to see, that might be a new module. The core framework as well, they're talking about some other things as well, as their design is also concerned as far as their development. And they've talked about creating multiple services, controllers, and improving their back end a lot. So they've done a lot, and this is probably the most technical developer update they've had, but there's actually a lot of good stuff in here if you want to read it and keep up with the update. I really like the idea of this project, so I'm here supporting them. They've reached out to me at my email, and I've talked to them a couple of times, and I really enjoy what they're trying to do here. And if we want to increase the adoption of crypto and Bitcoin and such, these are the sort of projects we need to embrace and get out there and spread the word for. So that's what we're doing here. And if you're not familiar with BigBits, that's part of the mission, is to increase cryptocurrency adoption, and spreading the word about this is a great way to do that, I think. And once the single player is released, we're going to have some game footage on here. They've told me that's okay to do, and we're going to share some of that. And who knows, we might have plenty of that, and we'll see how that picks up and if people actually like that. But other than that, that's about it for the Lightnite development update. And of course, if you haven't already pre-purchased the game and you're interested, the referral link is in the description of the video. But also at the end of the video, you're probably going to see some recommendations for other videos for the channel, where we do Pine script tutorials, where we learn to create trading indicators that we can use to trade Bitcoin and other different assets or securities with. And you can check out my TradingView profile, and you can actually get an idea of some of the scripts that I actually work with by going to the script section on my profile, and you can see what we've done there. But also on those video recommendations, you'll be able to see some of the actual videos we've done, and you get an idea if you're actually interested in that. But if you like this video and you like the Lightnite stuff or the other stuff, please leave a like on the video. If you want to see other videos like this, and you want to follow Lightnite, or you want to keep up with PineScript, please subscribe to the channel. There's going to be plenty more videos like this. And other than that, I think that's about it now for all this video. Have a nice day.